Test, test. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks, Big Papa. Thank you for the audio check. So again, how does everything look? And obviously, I sound okay. Old Spice, I'm doing good. I'm doing just fine. Again, for those of you that don't know, we are on a 30-second or maybe longer today. It looks like it might be longer. It might be a 40-second delay on the video. So let's see. Let's see how long that takes. Anyway, all right, good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Again, thank you all for joining me. I know this is it's pretty quick, but you know, usually I do like one a week, but I had a couple of things to, I guess, talk about this week, and I wanted to cram it out. Wow, so yeah, it's a little less than 30 seconds actually, so that's pretty good. All right, so it's a little less than 30 seconds, probably like 28-second delay. All right, it also depends on your internet speed. So just keep in mind when you ask me a question on a subject that I might have jumped off of, that happened 30 seconds ago. All right, so hopefully that makes some kind of sense. All right, so let's get into it today. Survival foods. Right, so today's episode we're going to talk about, or live stream, sorry, we're going to talk about survival foods. So if you have any questions, guys, can you do me a favor and leave it towards the end if you're still on? I would greatly appreciate it. Just because I want to get through what we want to talk about, and then I want to answer your questions later. So don't be offended if I don't answer right away. If it's a question pertaining to what I'm talking about, then you know I'll try to answer it while I'm talking. Try. Okay, give me 2 seconds to see if I can put the slow mode on. I thought it was on, but let me double check. Actually, you know what? I don't think I could do it from here now. But give me 2 seconds. All right. I guess the slow mode is not on, and I don't know. Once it starts, I can't fix it. So I do apologize for that. I thought I fixed it earlier today, but obviously that's not the case. So I do apologize for that, Marberry, for not having the slow mode on. Anyway, so let's get to the subject at hand, and we are going to talk about survival foods. Now, I'm not going to get into, I mean, I'll give you guys a list, like a short list, but as far as survival foods go, guys, and we'll be talking about non-lethal self-defense weapons or items, if you will, and we will be talking about medical kits. And I am going to bring up a couple of other things that I guess went on last week, or weird things that continue to go on. But we'll get into that a little later. So again, guys, like I said, I know you guys. Some of you guys don't care, but I do apologize about the chat because it is going pretty fast today. So once again, sorry. So let's talk about again survival foods. So nutrients, guys. When you're looking at survival foods, and that's foods that are long term foods that you want to store away, you know, for what's going on now. Now I know a lot of us have packed a lot of shit away over the course of years, and now we look like we might be using it soon. Now, I know, and I think some of you have, during the course of the years, you've gone into your stockpile and pulled things out, right? So while you while you're prepping, I know some of us have dipped into that closet or that stockpile and pulled things out to use it, or saw that it was about to expire, or been in there too long, and then we use those, right? So, um, with nutrients, it's important, guys. You do not need empty calories, and you do not need food that's going to just fill your belly. It has to have some kind of sustenance behind it. Um, like Eric said, he can't do rice and beans. You're gonna have to figure out what you need, what you can eat. Eric said he's diabetic, so if you are diabetic, you have to switch your menu, if you will, right? So you're not gonna be able to eat what I eat, though I'm going to probably say 95% of the population can eat what we eat, but there are those who have high blood pressure, diabetes. So you got to keep that in mind when you are stockpiling your food, what you can't eat anymore. Now, a lot of us are getting older. That being said, your diet changes. So if you were able to eat corned beef hash, for example, and you might not be able to eat it anymore, and you still have like 20 cans of corned beef hash, maybe you want to get rid of it. Maybe you want to donate it to another prepper. Maybe you want to give it to a soup kitchen. Those soup kitchens, if I'm not mistaken, they do not take expired food. I know the ones here in New York don't. I don't know how it works anywhere else. So, like I said, nutrients are important. Make sure it has the vitamins and the amino acids and aminos, sorry, that are in it that you need to survive, right? Again, if you were to make bread, not bread, corn, for example, right? Corn really doesn't have any nutritional value. Yes, it'll fill your belly. Yes, it'll keep you alive, but there's nothing nutritional about it, right? So you don't want to stock up on 200 cans of corn. All right. Now, to tell a quick story, there were a bunch of gold miners back in the 1800s that were eating rabbits. The area they so happened to find gold, which was by a river or creek, river or creek, I can't remember which one. They made a gold town there. So they had like probably like 40 something guys working this shift, or 30 something guys. And anyway, the area was heavily populated with rabbit. If you're going to eat high protein meals, you have to have fat with it. That's important. I have to get that out of the way. So these guys were eating nothing but rabbit, and they suffered from some kind of protein poisoning. There was a name for it, and they, I think most of those guys died, right? Except for the doctor who knew better and warned them, but he wasn't sure either. But he did warn them, and then a bunch of them wind up dying. Thank you for the super chat, Union Mike 108. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Right, so you got to keep in mind, guys, when you're eating. Again, if your body changes over the years, you need a low sodium diet. Like someone just mentioned, MREs might not be for you, right? Uh, if you are diabetic, you have to throw away a lot of your carbs and sugars. And not throw it away, but give it away. And if all else fails, yes, toss it away. Rabbit starvation, is that it, Soylent Green? That might be it. But right, they have plenty of rabbits, but the high amount of protein in their body wind up killing them. So that sucked, right? So again, now when you guys are going shopping, for your foods, try to make sure the dollar goes a long way with that food. Now, Canadian Prepper did an awesome video on this the other day, and he broke down the dollar per item, right? So like rice yielded X amount of calories. It was calories per dollar. That's what it was. And you got to watch this video. It was pretty good. But you want to make sure your dollar goes a long way. But you do not want to sacrifice, let's say, bumblebee tuna for some tuna company you never heard of, right? Because it's $1 cheaper. Now, you might want to buy that tuna you never heard of and try it to see if you like it. Eric, it wasn't that the high protein killed them. It was that they ate too much and didn't have fat in their diet to combat the protein, if you will, or to match the protein. So they just wind up dying from just too much protein, no fat. Rabbits and a couple other animals have zero fat on them or very little fat, and you need fat in your diet when you're eating to sustain your body. That's what it comes down to. So don't sacrifice for cheap food, and don't sacrifice for quality. Again, if it's $1 cheaper or it's considerably cheaper, buy a can or two and try it out. If you don't like it, boom, done. If you love it, now you can supplement that with the expensive can of tuna that you were buying, because Bumblebee is pretty expensive. So you're trying to keep yourself as comfortable as possible when you're going through this. What we're going through right now, you want to keep yourself possible. Right, ace of spades. If you like sardines, that's good for you. I hate sardines. I did try it recently once. It's really salty. If you need salt in your diet, that's probably one of the best things to eat. But if you have high blood pressure, sardines and pepperonis, for example, are probably not going to be good for you, and salted meats might not be good for you if you have high blood pressure. So you're trying to keep as comfortable as possible. So you're going to try to eat the same things you're eating now during the next shutdown or the apocalypse or whatever the hell it is. You want to keep as comfortable as possible. Try to keep some sanity in your household at the very least by eating what you normally eat and eating what you like. That's why we prep, so that we have minimal disruption to our lives. Now, don't get me wrong. What's going on now is quite a bit disruptive to everyone's lives. But when it comes to eating, people want to sit down and eat what they like and not try some new shit that they've never eaten before because they were trying to save a couple dollars. So keep that in mind. When you are going for your survival food shopping, right, make sure the food has longevity. Make sure it can last a few years on a shelf in your apartment, right, or home. Sorry. It's preferable that you keep that food cool or in a cool environment, in a dark environment, but sometimes that's not the case, right? So now an apartment like mine, it gets hot. I have to cycle through a lot of my canned goods because it gets hot in this apartment. Now, discipline. When you're going to buy, guys, so now when you're going to buy survival food, whatever it is you're buying to add to your stock, you got to try to maintain discipline. Now, I am one to talk because I just went shopping today, for end of the world shopping is what I called it. And so I went shopping today and I said, I'm going to spend $80. That's it. First of all, I said 60. I said $60. I went in there. I said, you know what? There's a lot of shit in here. I said 80. $229 later, or $228 later, I walk out of the store. All right. So that being said, it's you need to maintain discipline. I had zero. I just went like full steam ahead, like an idiot. All right. So now I do see a couple comments about tuna radiation and mercury and all this other stuff. Guys, listen. While you're preparing, try to avoid foods like that. Try. But when you are hungry, it doesn't matter. Starvation is going to kill you a hell of a lot faster and sooner and way more terribly than starvation. So keep that in mind, right? You're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Someone comes to your door because you're down and out and you're hungry, and they're going to give you a can of tuna. I doubt very much you guys are going to look at the tuna and go, that has mercury in it. I'm not eating it. You're going to eat it, right? So you have to keep that in mind. There are things we can fight and there are things we can't. And starvation is something that if you're starving, you're going to eat that can of radiation, if you will, right? And it's minimal radiation. I would avoid it right now while things are going on, but I would not say cut it out altogether when you're starving, right? So keep that in mind. Ronbo, we haven't talked about non-lethal self-defense yet. We're going to get to that. So the list of stuff, or survival foods, if you will, we're going to start with MREs. Now, I start with MREs because that is the first thing I started buying when I started prepping. I went bananas and I started with the whole MRE kick. Like I turned into an idiot and bought something like $1,000 worth of MREs inside of 2-3 months. Something close like that. And now I have a lot of MREs and I do cycle through them. I do try them out to make sure they're still good. MREs can go a long ass time provided they're stored in a nice cool spot. But MREs are high in calorie, but they're also high in sodium. So if you're buying boxes of MRE for yourself, do yourself a favor and read the sodium content. A lot of them come with the nutritional table thing in the back. So read that. If it's high in sodium, then you're only going to have half of that and mix it with something else. But don't get rid of it altogether. MREs do have their place, especially if you are hiking. Calorie bars, those are those, what's it called? Dexatrex or something like that. Those things are horrible. They taste like ass. But nonetheless, if you're starving and that's all you have, you're going to want to eat that. Now, MREs and calorie bars you don't want to eat long term. For certain people, it stops their bowel movements, if you know what I mean. So taking the shit could be harder, right? So when you're entertaining MREs and calorie bars, make sure you're not eating them all the time. Make sure it's just something that might be a fast snack. I would use MREs and calorie bars while I'm bugging out or bugging to my next location. Tipsy Green Goddess, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So it's something that you guys can consider. These are all things you're going to consider, guys. This is not something that a list I'm going to give you. You need to stick to it. Not at all. Margie, MREs are meals ready to eat. It's predominantly used by military. It's why a lot of military guys use it, or the military uses it because it's a quick go meal. Now the meals can be eaten hot because they have those little heating packs in it where you drop the MRE inside the heating pack, pour water, and it heats up your meal, or you can eat it cold. So you choose, right? Freeze-dried foods. Freeze-dried foods are by far one of the best items you can come across for eating. Why? Because they are light as hell, and all you need is water. Now, yes, if you don't have water, that's going to suck. But if you have water on you, you boil your water, you pour it in the pouch, the single serving pouches, and you can eat them, and they're light. That's the beauty about them too. So MREs have some weight to them because they're already in liquid. Freeze-dried foods are light. You have to add water to them. Thank you for that, Mountain Scout Survival. Oh, Shane, sorry. So he says when you're eating MREs, and yes, when you're eating high sodium meals, you need to drink a lot of water. That's the other thing you might want to consider too. Using MREs or even freeze-dried foods or dehydrated food for your bug out food. You got to keep that in mind, right? So dehydrated food too is the same thing. You're going to reconstitute it with water and eat it as such. There's been this argument online. I don't know where to go with it, but dehydrated foods and eating it dehydrated. Some people say you shouldn't. Some people said you could. I've eaten dehydrated fruits, bananas, strawberries, apricots. It's fine, right? But there's this little argument and banter going on about it. So I would leave that up to you to decide. But I've eaten fruits. I haven't eaten full meals dehydrated though. All right, dried beans. Dried beans versus wet beans. Now, when I mean wet beans, I mean beans in a can. Sorry. So the thing with wet beans is they can be eaten right out of the can. That being said, if you're going to eat it out of the can, it might taste like shit. So you have to keep that in mind because I know that some of the beans, when they cook, it releases more of the flavor, and then there you go, and it tastes like beans. But if you don't do that, if you don't cook it, it could taste like crap. So keep that in mind. Dried beans, you have to cook. You have to use water, and you have to sit there for a while boiling it or cooking it or adding it to whatever you're going to cook. Now, guys, this list is a mix of bug-out foods versus bug-in foods. So you're marrying these two together. It's not bad to have all of this stuff in your home, but it's not bad to have at least freeze-dried food and MREs in your bug-out bag, right? So, rice. Rice goes a long way, guys, right? What is it? A cup of rice feeds a family of 4 or 5. Depends on the appetite, but we get away with 1 cup of rice for 5 people here in the household, and we still have some left over. So keep that in mind. When you're buying stuff like rice, beans, sugar, flour, pasta, measure it out and start measuring it out now, right? So if you have a meal tomorrow, measure all of this stuff out and start calculating how much you need for 3 months, 6 months, 9, and then a year, and then beyond. So you got to calculate this stuff when you are. You have to calculate this stuff as you're going on, as you're preparing, right? Don't try to calculate it when the chips are down, when the shit is on lockdown, or the pandemic starts again, or another bullshit situation starts up and things close down. You do not want to start trying to calculate this shit right out of the gates. Right. So again, guys, you're gonna eat what you're gonna eat. Now, again, you have to reconstitute freeze dried, definitely boiling water and dehydrated. But again, it depends. Like I said, I've eaten dehydrated fruits, haven't had a problem, but I haven't had a meal. So some people are making some great comments on the side about freeze dried and dehydrated foods. But keep in mind, when you are starving, that shit sort of goes out the window, right? It's all about starvation and survival. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to survive. We can pick and choose what we want to eat right now. Therefore, we can pick and choose what we want to store away to make it better for us in the long run. All right, guys. So we spoke about. We haven't spoken about it yet. Honey. Honey is something you're definitely going to want to have. It's a great sweetener, and different honeys have different medicinal purposes. I'd like to go in that a little later, but let's talk about something that I know about is Manuka honey. Manuka honey is really good. I think it's from New Zealand. Very expensive here in the States, super cheap in New Zealand. So it's great for diabetics. Diabetics can use Manuka honey and a lot of different honeys, right? There's so many different ones out there, but Manuka honey is really good for coughs and it's really good for allergies. So I've used it on my kids when they have bad coughs, and of course the wife when she has her allergies. Manuka honey's best. Now there's different kinds of honey. There's clover honey, which is like your basic honey. There's something called white blossom honey. That's really good. There's a medicinal purpose to that, but I can't remember. So look into honeys and try to collect different kinds of honeys, right? Sugar. If possible, sugar's great, but try to avoid white sugar. Try to go with raw, something like that. White sugar is bad for you, only because when you learn about cancers and tumors and things like that, you start looking at sugar, and sugar is accursed. Manuka honey doesn't taste bad. Manuka honey is a way better tasting honey than a lot of the shit we sell here, right? So anyway, when you look into sugar, guys, for example, cancers are grown through sugar, right? A lot of diseases grown through sugar. So if you can avoid white sugar, by all means avoid it. Use honey. But if you're a coffee drinker and you need sugar, try to go with raw sugar or brown sugar, if you will. Brown sugar is a little sweeter and is a little more fattening, but it's better than white sugar. But if you absolutely have to have it, just get yourself some sugar stored away. Flour is something you're going to need if you're looking to make poor man bread, right? Or some kind of bread like substance, like poor man biscuits. Sorry, right? You absolutely use flour with that. If you're looking to thicken a soup that you might have in your closet, you can thicken it up with that. Flour has a lot of purposes. Again, calculate how much flour you're going to use. Now, pastas. Pastas are really cheap these days, guys. Pasta's incredibly cheap. So when I went shopping earlier today, there was I forgot the name of the company, but it was 4 boxes for like $5, right? Or was it 3? Might have been 4 for 3, right? So like an idiot, I buy as many as I could. Pastas go a long way. They have some nutritional value, but again, when you're starving, nutritional value, like I said, is important. But when you're starving, you're just going to eat to survive. So pastas are great. Pick the pasta you want. Don't eat pastas you don't like, because a lot of the pasta comes down to texture, right? Pasta is pasta for the most part, unless it's spinach pasta or whatever the green shit that they make out of pasta. But just get the pasta you like. Like I said, right? Someone said it lasts forever. It has longevity to it, guys. So keep that in mind. Now, let me stop real quick. When you guys are storing your food, longevity, storage, taste, cost, and nutrition is what you're looking for when you guys are storing your food. Those are the five things you have to look at when you're storing your food. Now, that list came from Canadian Prepper when he talked about it. I always looked for longevity and taste, right? And storage is how long it can store for and how do you have to store it and how easy it is to store. That's what storage means versus longevity. Longevity means how long you can keep it on your shelf or in your home for, right? So cost obviously goes without saying. We spoke about nutrition earlier today. So instant coffee. Now, instant coffee, I am not a fan of. We French press our coffee here, so instant coffee is a non-factor. Reason being is that we pour enough French press coffee, if you will, for my wife, myself to drink, and we're good. Tipsy Green Goddess, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Right? So I wouldn't buy instant coffee myself, but for some of you who don't French press or use a Keurig, which if you're using a Keurig, you should think about switching it to something more natural, like again, French press or the other thing on a pot. Man, I can't think of it right now. But I wouldn't touch instant coffee. I would use instant coffee if I was camping and something like that, but not at home bugging in. I would French press. And French press tastes a lot better. Period. You get yourself some nice grains you like, or grounds you like, and then French press your coffee. Now, coffee does get stale after a while. You have to keep that in mind. So if you're going to store the coffee away, try to store it away in an airtight container or vacuum seal the coffee that you're going to use that you're going to put away. Vacuum sealing the coffee is going to let it last longer. Sorry. And it's going to keep the freshness longer. All right. That's why I bought the Cafe Bustelo. I know a lot of you know what that is. Cafe Bustelo is really old. It's old school shit. My grandmother put me onto it when I was like 5, had me drinking it, and I was bouncing off the walls, but nonetheless, it was good. That's vacuum sealed. It looks like a brick. You could possibly throw it at somebody and split their head open with it. It's so fucking hard. All right. So powdered eggs and milk. Now, there is a drawback to powdered milk. I'm hoping one of you can back me up on it and put it here in the section below, the chat side below there. On the chat side, sorry, because I heard something about powdered milk and sawdust. And I don't know how true that is. So I looked it up. I couldn't find anything. So if anybody knows about the powdered milk sawdust thing and how it's bad for us, please let me know in the chat here. Powdered eggs. Powdered eggs go a long way. Powdered eggs store for a long time. You can mix powdered eggs with certain things, though I wouldn't mix it with shit other than making my eggs on the side and eating it with whatever I'm eating it, you know? So, again, powdered eggs, powdered milk, those store very, very long time. Canned goods. Again, whatever canned good you're going to buy, guys, make sure you like it, okay? Like, I hate Spam. Hate it, all right? So, I wouldn't buy Spam. But if I'm starving and someone throws Spam at me, I'll probably eat it. John Mott, coffee is a survival item for those who need it. Believe it or not, those who go without coffee suffer splitting headaches and all this other bullshit. It's a home coffee. I wouldn't pack it in my bug out bag, obviously, but for a home item, it's definitely a survival food, if you will. But it doesn't have any nutritional values either, though some people say coffee is good for cancer, and then other people say it's not. So it depends on how the coffee is made as well. That's why I say French press. French press is coffee in its truest form versus because the coffee is allowed to sit at the bottom and keep rising into the French press. But coffee can definitely be and you can also add coffee to certain recipes as well. So coffee is not just a drink. I've actually added coffee to a barbecue sauce mix that I made once, and it was possibly the best barbecue sauce I've ever made, adding coffee to it. All right, so take that for what it is. Now, again, so canned goods, guys, and canned goods are cheap, so it depends on where you go. You know, like today, I went to the supermarket. The canned goods was super cheap, man, super cheap, and I bought too much of it because it was on sale, like you wouldn't believe. Now, I know some guys are making what you call about coffee, right? Coffee can be used to barter, guys. Coffee is cans are too heavy to bug out with, guys. So you're not bugging out with canned goods. You're not. That's why I talked about freeze-dried foods earlier and dehydrated foods, because they're lighter. MREs are also lighter as well, but they already have liquid in them, adding some weight to it. So do not bug out with canned goods. I did see a bug out bag once where the person had canned goods in it. So I took the bag from the person, I lifted it up, and I'm like, what the fuck's in this bag? Bricks? The person had canned goods in it. But that's all they can afford. They couldn't afford the freeze dried and all the other stuff. I said, but you can also take the goods, take the whatever you're going to eat out of the can and put it in a plastic baggie and possibly double wrap it, right? Or vacuum seal it. You can do that as well. But there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things you can do to minimize that weight if canned goods are all you have, guys. Keep that in mind. It's not. Listen, none of this is law, right? You do it. You make it work for yourself, right? So again, you want to carry coffee. Make sure you carry it in a plastic bag and not a coffee can, right? So you minimize your equipment, guys. You even break down your MREs. You don't leave the MREs in a big pouch they come in, right? They come in a pouch about like that big. You don't leave it in a pouch. You break it down so that it fits in your bag easier. I did have a YouTube video on breaking down MREs, but that video is gone, so I might do another one on how to strip an MRE, because that's going to go a long way. Jerky is another thing you can eat. Some people have an issue with jerky as well, but nonetheless, jerky is a sustainable food. It can go a long time without having to be stored. You can put it in your bug out bag. I would use that as a bug out food, jerky, but with jerky, you have to drink water. You can't eat it by itself and then be fine, right? So thank you for that, Michael223. Right, freeze-dried is better nutritionally. That's what I've been told 1,000 times, right? So, guys, these foods that you're collecting, right? So the list I went down, and let me go down without, at least for your home, all right? Dried beans, canned beans, rice, honey, tuna, sugar, salt, flour, canned goods, whatever that is you're going to eat, pasta, spices, salt, pepper, paprika, garlic, onion powder, things like that. You want to have powdered eggs, powdered milks, actual eggs, actual milk, right? Until you can't store it anymore, or until you can't get it anymore, right? Those are items you're going to have in your home. Now, bug out food, dehydrated, freeze-dried, calorie bars, MREs are what you're going to have in your bug out bag, or you should have in your bug out bag, all right? But if you have to eat an MRE at home, so be it. You eat an MRE at home, guys. It's not the end of the world. And someone keeps mentioning Pentacan. I need to know. I'm going to do more research on that because I'm curious about this stuff. I've been reading about it for a long time, and I've yet to see anybody but that one video where the person made that stuff. Frank, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the donation. So, guys, survival recipes. When you have survival recipes, you should be looking this up before you end up in a survival situation, right? So for example, if the lockdown's a lot worse and stores are closed, you have to do yourself a favor and figure out these recipes before the hammer drops. Do not wait till the shit is on and you're sitting there trying to put sausage together with macaronis. Try to come up with something more tasty. Granted, macaroni and sausage, if that's all you have, that's all you're eating. But try to be a little more creative with it, right? But with the survival recipes, you have to make sure the measurements are right for the amount of people you have in your home, right? So don't make a survival recipe of whatever you have for 9 people when you only have 3, right? Make sure the recipes also match the amount of people you have so there's no waste or minimal waste. You do not want to waste shit for no reason. Right, so someone mentioned Bannock. MG mentioned Bannock. Bannock is really good. There's another bread that I just learned about the other day that they make down south. What's going on, Michael? Not down south, sorry. In South America, there's a flour called pan. It's like a yellow bag. I think it's a Spanish lady on the front. And there's a bread that they make in, again, South America. And that's a cheap man's bread. So that's the other thing, guys. Look to make poor man meals while this is going on. Poor man bread. If you don't have yeast, fuck it. Just make some kind of flat bread of some kind and eat that, right? Again, a lot of bread doesn't have nutritional value unless it's wheat or something of that nature. But sorry, sorry about that. This my chat thing on the iPad stopped working. Sorry. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much what you're gonna go down, right? So the right rice, tuna, honey, jerky, sugar, salt, flour, canned goods, um, and coffee, whether it's instant or not. Michael 223, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, guys. You got to keep prepping. You got to keep buying food. Ethan asked about Mountain House food. Mountain House food, I think, is great. I love it. I take it camping with me all the time. Again, it's light. You barely notice it's in your bag. It's great food to have. Michelle Jones, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. But guys, you got to keep prepping, and you just got to buy stuff that you're going to eat. To sit there and start splitting hairs about what's good for you and what's not, yes, if you're preparing your food right now, if you're preparing your closet, your home, yes, absolutely worry about BPA and all that shit in the food. Worry about it now so that you worry about it less later. But if you run into a situation where there's more food being thrown at you or given to you, just fucking take it. Don't sit there and go, well, there's too much mercury in this or there's too much lead, whatever it is. It's probably minimal and it's going to keep you alive long enough so that you can continue to live, right? You don't cut your nose off to spite your face if that's, um, that makes sense, right? Just whatever it is, buy what you can and eat it. Now, MG, great segue. Thank you. Hunting and fishing, guys. Getting a hunting license now, getting a fishing license now. I don't know how hard it is. I haven't heard anything bad, but if you can get it now, get it now. Should we end up in a grid down scenario where everything is fucking in the wind, right? Fishing license and hunting license doesn't matter. You're going to go fish and hunt. You're going to try to be respectable when you go fishing or hunting. You're not going to do what the Chinese do and fish everything out of the fucking waters so that you end up by the Galapagos Islands fishing out of their waters, right? You're going to be respectful of the area you're in when you're hunting and fishing. You're not going to go off the fucking rails. So try to keep that in mind when you're going to hunt, because now hunting and fishing can prolong your food supplies, right? And it's that's what you want, right? You want to have your food supplies, but you want to make sure you can keep it going. And hunting and fishing is the best way. Cost action warrior. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. And I like the flag in the back, man. Thank you. So, vacuum sealing, guys. That was the other thing. Sorry. Vacuum sealing your foods are going to prolong it. Now, you can't vacuum seal everything. I've tried it. It doesn't work. But vacuum seal what you can. Meats and fish and things that can be thrown in the freezer or deep freezer, vacuum seal that. It's going to prolong it from freezer burn. So do yourself a favor and look into vacuum sealing your food. It adds more time on your food. I've had a steak in the fridge for close to a year. Ate it and it tastes fine. So, that was the other thing, guys. Make sure you test the stuff you buy, right? So I've had canned goods. My oldest canned good I've eaten was 6 years. I think it was Chef Boyardee. After 6 years, it was good. Tamara Rodriguez, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And, oh my God, I drew a blank. Testing your food is what you need to do. Now, 6 years was as long as I went, and it tasted fine. I didn't die. So, that being said, you're going to see some preppers talking about, canned goods are only good for this long. No, it's not. I've been doing the test. I've been using myself as a guinea pig for this kind of shit. So that when people talk shit, or not so much talk shit. Sorry, let me roll that back. When people talk about things they're not quite sure of, I've taken the test, I've done it, I survived, and I've done it on 3 separate occasions. One was 3 years, one was 6, and I think another one was 5 or 4.5, whatever it is. Disabled Prepper, man, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Right, so you got to test it out, guys. You also have to, like, just because a can's been sitting on the shelf for, let's say, 8, 9 years, don't throw it away. Eat it first, then toss it. Right. Well, Bill. Yeah. So 6 months in a normal freezer, 12. But I've gone longer and haven't had a problem. Right. And again, guys, you're gonna eat this and not eat it, but like freezer, for example, you'll see freezer burn. You look at it. I've had freezer burn on chicken I had in there for too long. Tossed it. You look at it, go, I can't eat this shit, and you throw it away. But if it's in the freezer and the color is still good, try it. It's not going to. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna kill you. You're less likely to get sick from it, as long as it's still in color, as long as it's in freezer burn. If it does, guess what? You toss it. Again, I've been testing out a lot of different methods in food because people are so quick to be like, "Fuck it, throw it away." No, man, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to try it out. And again, with meat, if it smells bad, don't eat it. Right? If you open up a can and it smells bad, do not eat it. It's pretty much simple as that. I hope that makes sense. All right. So now, guys, let's move on to something else. Well, before we move on to something else, how much time? 40 minutes. So this chat might run a little longer, guys. So, guys, if you want to do me a favor, smash the like button or the dislike, whichever makes you happy. It helps out with the channel. Being that my channel is still small and growing, that stuff helps out all the time. So I do appreciate you guys for hitting the smash button and the like, subscribe, and share bullshit that I have to say because it goes along with the YouTube protocol. But again, that's to grow the channel, right? So thank you guys for that. Now, I have an announcement. I am doing a Patreon giveaway, I guess, tomorrow. I'm going to start the giveaway tomorrow. So if you're interested in this giveaway, go to my Patreon account, which should be in the description below. Go to my Patreon account, join as a Gear of the Month Club, and you can get the gear. You could possibly win the gear I'm giving away. Sorry. I'm giving away 2 pieces of gear. So it was supposed to be 1, but I came into something extra, so I'm giving away 2 pieces of gear this month. So the Gear of the Month Club is a giveaway every month, not every week, but it could get to that provided that I get more Patreons, right? So I can put the Patreon link up here and see where it so that you guys can subscribe to it. All right, so hopefully you guys see the link for the Patreon if you're interested in the Gear of the Month Club. If you're interested in supporting just me, you can do so as well. If you're interested in supporting the website, which I'm still trying to build because it's a pain in the balls, you can do so. But I'm hoping to have the fucking website up at least by October, because there's a lot I want to do with the website, and I want to make it right. I'm having a T-shirt issue because I want the T-shirts to look nice. Right now, I'm not worried about the T-shirts. Right now, I'm just, worried about Patreon, making sure you guys have fun with the Patreon account, and making sure I come up with a reputable website. I do not want to do shit half-assed. It's why sometimes it might take me longer than others to get it done. All right, guys. So, the other announcement I wanted to make, it's Angryprepper. He has a live stream tomorrow night. I think it's at 9 or 9:30. Double check on his page. It's Angryprepper. And for those of you that are new to the channel, Prepper now has a YouTube channel. If I was you, I would go over to his channel and subscribe to him. He's almost at the 1,000 mark there. He's like at 700 subscribers or 750, whatever it is. So do me a favor, show him love, get him above 1,000. Once he hits 1,000, it frees him up. You watch his videos, he can start getting monetized. Guys, it's time for like more preppers to start making themselves known, right? There shouldn't be so few of us, and there are few of us. I thought there was a lot. Now, there are preppers I never heard of that you guys bring my attention to, but nonetheless, there's not many of us, right? So why not there be more, right? If you have some skill in prepping or knowledge in prepping, you should start a video. Period. Nice. Gene just said Prepper Now only needs 9 subscribers to hit 1,000, guys. So let's make it happen tonight before I go off the air. Right? So those are the 2 announcements I had to make. Again, the Patreon, if you guys are interested in winning some gear for a fraction of a price, join the Patreon account. And guys, Super Chat is great when you guys donate. You guys can also donate via Cash App, because Super Chat or YouTube, sorry, takes 30% away. So, American Prepper, he's at 660 on YouTube. So, guys, if not, visit his page as well. I have watched a couple of his videos, and I apologize for not subscribing. I really do. But his videos are not... Listen, a lot of preppers, guys, they're not fucking bad, right? They all know their shit. Beware of preppers who scream the sky's falling. I try not to do that. I like to give heads up. We all like to get heads up. But the sky is never falling. All right? It's just what it might be. Right now, we're in this boat where shit is going bad. But, a lot of us are not screaming the sky's falling. Because if it doesn't fall, you look like an asshole. And I know there are a couple channels out there where guys are just constantly crying about this shit. You know, the world is about to crash kind of deal. All right, so let's get on to the next subject, because we have 2 more, and I only have 15 minutes. I'm lying. This is going to run a little longer, guys. Yes, American Prepper, put your link in the chat stream, please. That'll help people find you. All right, so we're going to talk about non-lethal self-defense. Guys, Solving Green. Nice. Prepper Now, I just heard you hit your first 1,000. Very good, man. Very good. Congratulations. So, non-lethal self-defense. If you live in New York City, guys, non-lethal self-defense is a motherfucker. It's... All right, sorry, real quick. Someone asked for the Cash App link. I'm putting it in the chat stream right now. All right, guys. So that's the Cash App link to, again, support the channel or not give YouTube 30%. You could look at it that way. I'd rather you guys look at it that way. So, non-lethal self-defense in New York City, guys, blows. All right, it blows. There's not much you can do. The problem with New York City, and this is New York City specifically because you can't protect yourself here. You cannot protect yourself. I mean, Jesus, man. If you have a knife and your intentions to protect yourself winds up harming someone, you could go to jail. That makes 0 sense. 0 sense, guys. So, non-lethal self-defense here in the city is kind of hard. Now, tasers are not allowed here in New York City. I thought they were, but they're not, right? Stun guns and are not allowed here in New York City. I, for whatever reason, thought it might have been, but no. New York City has too many rules. Now, if you live elsewhere, you can absolutely abide by a lot of these weapons that I'm going to read off, right? Airsoft is no good right now. Any kind of gun-looking weapon or non-lethal weapon is no good in New York City. It's almost as if the mayor's like, you know what? Hopefully the cops will protect you because fuck it, right? So I'm going to get to bear spray and wasp spray in a little bit. I'm going to show you guys something, so I'm going to have to get up and see if I can find it. The wasp spray, because I'm going to show you how practical it isn't to carry in a little bit when we get to it. So, baseball bats, collapsible batons, slingshots. Those are preferable non-lethal self-defense weapons. But again, collapsible baton, if you're not a security guard, it's not legal. It's not legal. The collapsible slingshots are not legal in New York City. But if you can get your hands on a collapsible baton and slingshot, fuck it, right? Keep it in your home for when the cops can't get to you guys. Here's the problem. Fuck these politicians who are guarded by cops, guarded by security, 24-hour surveillance, They're guarded. Someone could break into your home right now and you have nothing. So if you can get your hands on one of these items that are illegal, so be it. It's there to protect you. Let the law deal with it at that point. As long as you're not hurt, as long as you're not dead, right? As long as you can get the guy away from you, so be it. Right? So tactical pen is legal right now in New York City. A pool ball in a nylon sock or material, not that it's legal because you turned it into a weapon, but it's a great self-defense item. Monkey fist. I thought monkey fist was legal here in New York. Monkey fist is not legal. Monkey fist is a ball wrapped in a rope. Now, some people put a steel ball in it or a cue ball, like a pool ball, like I mentioned earlier, and wrap it in a rope. It's called a monkey fist, and you could definitely use that to beat the shit out of somebody to get them off of you, right? A bandana, a padlock tied to a bandana is good. Make sure you know your knots so it doesn't come flying off when you whack the guy with it. That's not a bad one. Tactical flashlight, guys. That's also legal. You could shine it in the guy's eyes, blind him for a minute, smack him with the light, right? Or it depends on the tactical flashlight. If it's too small, you're going to have to strike him with the light in your hand, right? You're not carrying a mag light, guys. One of those giant mag lights that cops used to carry. You're not carrying one of those. If you are, good for you. But that's a lot of fucking weight to be carrying. Pepper spray, mace. Pepper spray and mace are... They say pepper spray is legal, but not mace in New York City. Again, if you are getting... ladies, if you're getting raped or beat up, fuck them. Mace or pepper spray will work. Brass knuckles. I love brass knuckles. They're illegal in New York City. Now, I said hiking stick earlier. Let me backtrack. Not the collapsible hiking sticks that you see old people using, guys. You want the Gandalf hiking stick made out of solid wood. You know, the big one that's probably like 6-7 feet tall. That's a good weapon as well. I've seen one of those. Nice sturdy one. That's good. That's a good weapon to use. Again, a lot of these weapon guys are going to be in your home. You're not going to be walking out in the street with it, with the exception of the tactical pen, tactical flashlight, and maybe pepper spray. Or not maybe, and pepper spray, right? You're going to keep those in your bags. Now, I put martial art weapons in here. Martial art weapons pretty much across the board are illegal in New York City. In certain states, they are not. So, again, keep that in mind. You're not walking down the street with a sword, like you see behind me, right? But there's certain ninja stars. They're illegal in a lot of states. They're definitely illegal in New York. You cannot have a ninja star. You also have to know how to throw a ninja star as well. Billy club. Billy club is a little hard for me to explain, but a billy club is a long piece of like leather wrapped with I think like a steel ball in it. No, that's a blackjack. A billy club is like a long piece of leather. Sorry, it's like a nightstick, but I think it's a little shorter. Cops used to carry it back in the days. And that's illegal. Blackjacks is like a metal ball wrapped in leather, almost like a monkey fist, but it's longer, if you will. Hard to explain. That's illegal. Nunchucks, illegal. Electronic darts, stun gun, illegal. That's in New York City, guys. Ninja stars, illegal. Box cutters. If you can get yourself a box cutter, you can carry yourself a box cutter. But if you get stopped by the cops for whatever reason, they're looking in your fucking bag when they're not supposed to. But if they're looking in your bag, you could get jammed up for it. I know carpenters who've gotten jammed up for having box cutters in their bag. So, tread lightly with a box cutter. Knives. Knives are pretty much the illegal, guys. Every last knife known to man is illegal in New York City. If it has an edge, it's no good. Angryprepper. Steel-toe boots are the way to go. Ladies, you want to kick a dude in the nuts? Steel-toe boots are the way to go. You can definitely cripple a dude with a kick to the shin or kick to the nuts with steel-toe boots. That is a good weapon to have, and I didn't even think of that. Thank you, Angryprepper. Old Mutt, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Right, so, knives are just illegal, guys, so don't even entertain it. Now, as a city worker, I'm allowed to carry a knife. It's a tool. Right? So I carry one on me at all times. But as a, I guess, civilian, a regular person, you shouldn't have a knife. But again, people, if you're using this to protect yourself, fuck them. I'm going to get to the bear spray and the wasp and hornet spray in a little bit, guys. I see that flying. Blackjack's a springy shaft. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mark Olson. Thank you for that. My father had a blackjack. My father was a cop. He tapped me in the knees once with it because I told him, how does this thing hurt? And he said, bink, and he didn't even hit me hard. He just like tapped it. It hurts. All right, so imagine hitting somebody upside the head with it. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to make a note about mace and pepper spray. They are two very different things. Mace is an irritant. It's sort of like tear gas. Pepper spray causes inflammation in the eyes or the capillaries in the eyes. This is why when some people get sprayed with mace in their eyes fucking boom, blow up and then they can't see anymore. So pepper spray is good. But guys, if you are going to use mace or pepper spray or wasp spray or bear spray, you got to be careful of the splashback. Have to be careful of that because then both of you will be rolling around on the fucking ground crying. And Demigod, wasp spray burns the eyes. Again, guys, this is not to kill somebody. This is not to put them down. This is to get them disrupted long enough for you to get away. Right? That's all it is. It's not, you're not going to end the guy's life. You're not going to stop him forever, but you're stopping him for the short term to get away. And that's here in New York City or any city where liberals destroyed your ownership of guns. Now, guns in New York City can be owned. You can own a rifle in New York City. You can own a handgun in New York City. But they make it incredibly hard to own one. That's the problem. That's the problem we're having, guys. They make it incredibly hard to own a firearm here in New York City. So you can, when the offices open up again, apply for this stuff. You're going to apply for a target permit, which is a handgun, and then rifle is hunting. You can use that as self-defense if you're in that position, in that jam. Forget what people say about legalities. Legality means dick if you're dead. Because guess what? The guy that killed you or the chick that killed you gets to go to jail, have 3 hots in a cot, right? 3 meals in a cot because they got away. Not that they got away with it, but now they're in jail, but they're still alive. Meanwhile, you're dead, and now they're going to try to revamp some law because they missed something. Protect yourself now. Don't worry about it later. Tony Smith, Ghost Guns. Is that what I'm thinking? Could you clarify? And here's the thing, guys. Anything that you might find yourself getting, somebody might give you a billy club or a blackjack, for example. You need to train. Training is a must. With any of these things you use, pepper spray, mace, you got to know how to use it. A baseball bat, nunchucks, throwing stars. You're not supposed to have them, but if you do, train with it. Box cutter, even guys, as simple as a box cutter or a knife, you have to train how to use it. You do not want this thing turning against you, whatever the weapon is in your hand. You don't want the guy turning it against you. That's the problem. It's training. It's being fast. Can you be mobile with it at the same time, like wasp spray, right? Or bear spray. Do yourself a favor and train with it, right? Know how you could be fluid with whatever weapon you have. So, wasp spray and bear spray, great to have. Can't ship it to New York City. Wasp spray you can. You can go to Home Depot and get yourself a can of wasp spray. But bear spray, you cannot ship it to New York City. You're going to have to ship it to a friend upstate New York somewhere and have them ship it to you. Or get yourself in a car and go to a camp store in Jersey or upstate New York and get all the bear spray you want. Bear spray is a motherfucker too because it leaves like an orange tinge behind it. So it lasts a long time. That's going to disable a person. Now, homemade spraying devices, guys, got to be careful. Right. JB said alcohol and spray bottle. You can use something called capsaicin. Look it up online. See where you can get it. It's a food product, but capsaicin is a spice. It's what they put in a lot of the spices that people love. Don't know why people love hot sauce, but nonetheless, that shit's in there. You can put that in a spray bottle as well, right? And spray the shit out of somebody's eyes. Windex, yes, be the light. Windex will definitely work. Anything that's going to sting the eyes, guys, is going to work. It's going to work long enough for you to get away. Now, with the capsaicin in the water or the alcohol in the water, you're going to have to test it, right? And the way you test it is you take the water on your finger and see if it burns. I wouldn't put it in your eyes, right? I wouldn't put it in your eyes, but you got to see if it burns. Or take that little bit of watered down solution and put it on your tongue, right? You put it on your tongue, and if it starts burning, it's good for the eyes. That's the only way you're going to know, right? Or you can sort of overdo the pour or the drop, in the water bottle, whatever spray bottle you're going to use. But guys, give me 2 seconds to get the wasp spray. I want to show you guys something, why it's not practical to carry wasp spray. So, John Mott, before I walked away, you said something about bear spray to a gunfight. Listen, this is for New York City. I get all the smart comments and the, oh my God, you know, why would you use spray if someone has a gun? You got to use what you got to use, what you can use, guys. And it's as simple as that. It's not up for debate. It's not up for, that's stupid because what if you have a gun? Listen, so be it. He might have a gun. A lot of guys here also have knives. A lot of guys here like to beat you up just to take your shit. They might not have a weapon. So nonetheless, something that you might have might save your life or might ward them off long enough so that you can do something about it. That's what it comes down to, guys. It's not about it's not about, again, the whole, oh man, that guy's gonna have a gun. Bring a spray to a gunfight. So the fuck what? You can still spray somebody in the eyes who has a gun if he's standing close enough. You know how many videos I've seen of guys fucking standing like yay close with the gun to the dude's head before they shoot him? Right? The guy could have ducked out of the way if he saw it coming, that is, or fought with the guy, or fought for his life. Nonetheless, guys, this is what you adapt to when you live in a city like New York. That's what it's about. It's about adaptation, guys. That's all it is. It's not what you call. So now here, this is wasp spray, guys. Right? Wasp and hornet spray. Right? Look how big this can is. This is a big ass can. I can't see a woman walking around with this in her purse. I might see a guy with this in his backpack. But then you got to stop and take this shit out and go, hold on, wait a second. And then you got to pull this big ass can out of your bag. Now, is it a great home defense? Absolutely. Is it a great, if you want to carry it in your purse, could you pull it out? Yes, but then you got to take the top off, right? You got to take the top off and be mindful of which way the nozzle's pointing, right? You don't want to be in a panic and spray yourself in the eyes. You got to be careful of using anything that sprays. You got to be mindful of it. Someone mentioned fire extinguisher. Yes, if you have a fire extinguisher in your home, that's a great self-defense tool. You're not going to walk out in the street with a fire extinguisher. Bear spray. Bear spray is another good one, guys. It's quick, it's fast, it has a distance, it has a nice little reach to it. This wasp spray has a reach of 27 feet. You only need to be fucking 5 to 10 feet away to spray the dude. Now, obviously, the further away you are, the better it is. But you don't need to be 27 feet away. And you're not going to count that in a fight, right? You're fighting for your life. You're trying to get out of this situation. You're not going to sit there and pace yourself 1, 2, 3, 4 while you're getting attacked, right? You're going to turn around and spray. But when you do, guys, when you use a spray, be careful of the wind. Make sure you recognize where the wind is. Again, if the wind's blowing in your face, when you're spraying it to the guy whose wind is on his back, it's going to spray in your eyes. The bounce is going to hit you right in the eyes. Now, if you're using wasp spray and you're 20 feet away or 10 feet away, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're yay close with mace or bear spray, or mace for that matter, or pepper spray, you could get splashed back in your eyes and it's going to fucking hurt. So keep that in mind, guys. And yes, wasp spray can damage your eyes. So can pepper spray. Can definitely damage your eyes. So keep that in mind. Now, while we're talking about self-defense, everyone is saying, yes, awareness, guys. Avoid awareness and try to avoid conflict. I'm confrontational. So I'm trying to be better at letting things go, and I have. I've let a lot of shit go. But sometimes, if I let 3 things go in a day, that 4th thing, I'm all over whoever the fuck caused that 4th problem. But I'm trying to get better at getting out of it. Quick story. Guy the other day, we're backing the fire truck into the firehouse, and the fire truck is at the curb trying to back into the firehouse, and a car jumps the curb to go around the fire truck. Now, the chauffeur hits the horn, pretty much yelling at the guy with the horn, but stopped me dead in my tracks because I normally go ahead of the rig and walk the rig back. He stopped me in my track. I'm like, the hell's he hitting the horn for? Here comes the car around the corner. Car would have crushed me, right? So now, the guy, I yelled at the guy, said something to him, whatever, I cursed at him or whatever it is, and he stops. And I go, get out of that car and watch what happens next. And I start walking towards him, and he drives off. All right. So that I should have probably let go. But nonetheless, the fact that he jumped on the sidewalk would have hit me. If he would have hit the rig, he would have bounced into the people who were eating in the outdoor restaurant there, right? Because everyone here eats out fucking doors now. He would have bounced into them. So now, there you go. Assholes like that are what sometimes, twist my nipples, if you will. So, yes, anti-recovery, police collapsible batons or collapsible batons. If you can get your hands on them, by all means. Keep in mind, if you live in New York City, you're probably not going to get it. If you live in states, New York somewhere, you can get it. If you're a security guard, you can go to certain stores and get them right there on the spot. But nonetheless, if you are caught with one, the cops could break your balls, guys. Listen, cops are not going to absolutely break your balls if they find one of these things in here for self-defense. If you're going to and from work, and ladies, I'm not singling you out or anything like that, but ladies, if you're going to and from work, and for whatever reason, your purse falls, oh shit, and your fucking Ninja Star falls out of the bag, the cop might look at it and go, what are you doing with that? And what's going on, 20th Division? The cop would be like, what are you doing with that? And like, I need it for protection. And he'll just like either A, turn around and walk away, B, help you, put it back in your bag, walk away, right? Or if he's a prick, he'll lock you up on the spot. But most cops, guys, will not break your balls over this shit. I've seen it time and time again. They've let shit go. All right? So now, with that, don't always think that cops are looking to arrest you, but you don't want to run into the wrong cop. So it's an interesting place to be. So with the weapons, guys, training, situational awareness, know who's around you. Make sure you're not walking alone in a fucking park by yourself. Because I've seen that more than times than not, and I think that's incredibly stupid. Walking in a park by yourself, thinking shit's that good. So it's again, guys, it's just amazing here in New York City, the shit that we're faced in this city, as far as weapons and protecting us. It's insane. Now, it'd be nice to reverse all that shit. The gun ownership here in New York City, guys, it's possible. It's just a pain in the ass, and people don't want to go through the process. One of the processes of owning a gun here is going down and sitting in front of people and getting interviewed. And while you're being interviewed, they're pissing you off. That's bad, right? That's bad shit. And they look to piss you off so you don't own a firearm. That's insane. That's insane liberal bullshit. That's why I don't want to entertain getting a handgun license or a rifle, but I am going for the rifle as soon as the office opens, just for hunting reasons. All right, so next subject we can move on to, guys. Medical kits. This is going to be real quick because we're over the hour mark. Medical kits, guys. Build your own kit versus buying a kit. I would prefer you build your own kit. Prefer it. Because you know where everything is. I've built all my kits. I think I bought one kit, and that was a first aid kit. First aid kits, you could buy till the day is long, guys. Knock yourself out. Trauma kits, you need to build your own. You need to know where everything is, And Tommy M, we are thinking about getting on to New York City. That's happening. Right? So build your own kits. Now, we're going to go Cost of Action Warrior, man. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. You know what? I never considered flare guns. I've bought flare gun. Well, I bought one flare gun a while ago for camping, just in case I got lost. But definitely, if you're going to use it for camping, you could use it as self-defense. Just don't miss, because you only get one shot, right? So, first aid versus trauma, guys. Here's the important thing about first aid versus trauma. First aid kits cannot treat trauma patients. Trauma kits can treat first aid patients. So you're going to want to have a trauma kit. You're going to want to have controlled bleeding substance in there. You're going to want to have bandages, gauze, wraps, splints, if you can fit it in there, right? So I have this splint. This is called a SAM splint, right? If you could see it past the light. All right, SAM splint. This is a 38-inch one. This one's good for the arm, right? So if the arm is broken or angulated, like you ever seen the broken arms where it's hanging, right? You're like, holy shit, look at that dude's arm. If you can get the arm straight, you would use this splint to give it support and then wrap it and so on, right? Those are things you want to put in the trauma bag. I am going to do a more comprehensive video on trauma bags, but trauma bags are good to have, or trauma kits. Trauma bags are bigger. Trauma kits are smaller. Trauma kits can only help 1 or 2 people. Trauma bags can help a lot of people. Depends on how many are out there, how many you're treating, right? I would say anywhere between 10 to 20 people, all right? Again, depends on how you pack it. Now, make sure your trauma bag is stocked for trauma, right? Don't have a big-ass first aid bag calling it trauma. You have to be stuffed for the situation, for that. And a trauma bag has to have a totality of things to help you stop bleeding, right? Relieve pain. When I mean relieve pain, for example, using the splint is going to relieve the pain. If you leave the arm angulated and the guy has to walk, if it bounces, it's going to fucking hurt. So, sorry, it's not he. I'm looking at one of the chats. Sorry. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to relieve the pain. Now, your trauma kit, you need to know where everything is, right? So let's say you're driving on the road and you see an accident and you see fucking 14 motherfuckers spread all over the highway. You're going to want to help them. Now, when you help people in a situation like that, you're the first dude on scene. You're the first guy to help. You got to do something called triaging, right? You cannot, not that you cannot, let me walk that back. You shouldn't treat the first person you see. Before you start treating people, you need to go through each person that's spread out over the road, see who's dead, who's badly hurt, and who is just in pain, right? Now, that being said, you're not medically trained, but you can still walk through and you can tell who's dead, and you can tell who's badly hurt, and you can tell who needs bleeding to stop. Those are your basic ones. You look at somebody, his leg's torn off, and you see blood gushing out, you're going to throw a fucking tourniquet on his leg. Boom, stop the bleeding, right? Look at him. Look at your watch. Make sure you have the time that you stop the bleeding. Move on to the next person. This is if you're a one-man band. If you are in a traffic jam or a traffic situation where there are multiple people, employ other people to help you out in this situation. Right, guys? So that's what you would probably do. We'll do. Okay, so right, accessibility, guys. Just make sure everything is accessible in the bag too. So make sure you have the tourniquet up top. Make sure you don't have to dig through the bag for that tourniquet. Make sure your stop bleeding stuff is accessible where you're not digging through the bag. You don't want to bloody up all your shit and contaminate all your stuff, right? Contaminating everything. Listen, you're helping people. I can care less if I'm fucking on the road bleeding and you're digging through the bag, contaminating it. I can care less. You're trying to save my life, but you're trying to be as clean as possible. I heard cayenne can slow bleeding down. There's also, Shane, if you're still on here, let us know what the other thing is, the other essential oil that's good for stopping bleeding. Helichrysum. Helichrysum is good for stopping bleeding, guys. So you should consider putting that in your trauma bag. Again, make sure it's accessible. Merlin Wizard, I'll answer that question in a little bit about the crossbows. Please remind me in 5 minutes. All right, so that's accessibility. Now, guys, I went through trauma bag versus trauma kit already. Sorry. Training. You're going to need training for this stuff as well. You can take a basic first aid course. Try to take a basic trauma course if you can. Like a basic, nitty-gritty trauma kit where it teaches you how to stop bleeding and helping people in that situation. You don't need to be an EMT. You don't need to be a certified first responder. You just want to make sure people can survive. You can also go on YouTube and learn a lot of this stuff, but it's better if you do hands-on. You could YouTube the shit out of anything, guys. Anything you want. But hands-on is king to training. Hands-on is king. I would like to do a video on showing you guys how to do certain things, but I don't think that would do anybody any good, right? I mean, I guess if you looked at it, you'd be like, okay, you have an idea, but hands-on training is by far the best. So know that your kit is your life-saving tool. It's somebody else's life-saving tool to know where everything is, right? All the unimportant stuff in your trauma bag you can have at the bottom or off to the side. But things that are going to stop bleeding right away has to be quickly accessible, right? So now that we are done with that, we're an hour and 15 minutes in. So I'm going to give 5 minutes to Q&As, questions. Now, Merlin, you asked about crossbows. Crossbows in New York City, I think they're legal. I think. I do not know. I couldn't find anything. Because New York City laws, believe it or not, are about as fucking vague and hard to find than a leprechaun at the end of a fucking rainbow. All right? So, with that being said, I have a crossbow. I had no problem getting it sent here. So I'm assuming it's legal. Because Amazon will tell you in a heartbeat, and other places to order crossbows will tell you in a heartbeat. You can own a bow and arrow here in New York City. That's for sure. A crossbow, I'm not sure. Because they have archery ranges all over. I know that bow and arrows are legal. Obviously, if you're going to use it as a weapon, you could be in trouble. But, fuck them. If it's going to save your life, guys, fuck them. All right? All right. So, again, you have a question, please ask it in the next 5 minutes because I'll be going off the air in a couple minutes. Okay, you know what? I'll round it off. I'll probably make it another 15 if you guys have enough questions. JB, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you right now which medical books is pretty good. Oh, here it is. This big ass book here called the Wilderness Medicine Book, that's pretty good. But this book here is going to make you a doctor by the time you're done reading it. I've read a lot of stuff in this book, man. I've gotten so many good tips out of here on how to help people, especially in the wilderness. Wilderness training can translate over to urban, believe it or not. And then outdoor medical emergency book is good. And you can also look up trauma training books, like urban trauma training books. I don't know which one that might be, but you can look those up as well. I was trained as an EMT before I became a fireman, so I still have that thing about being an EMT to help people, the medical knowledge and skills and stuff. So that's something you might want to take training in. Stout, the herb was helichrysum, and it was essential oil. And you can also use cayenne pepper to slow bleeding down as well. Those are the 2 things you want to use for slow bleeding. You could put it in your trauma kit and use that. Now, as far as weapons go, guys, if some of you follow, was it law enforcement underscore on Instagram or Trap Room 1 on Instagram, the amount of shootings, guys, have gone way the fuck up. Way the fuck up. I mean, it's insane, guys, how much it has gone up. I'm seeing more and more shootings on that like you wouldn't fucking believe. So, you know, I mean, weapons, everyone is bringing out their handguns, and law-abiding citizens on here, YouTube, and, you know, we're getting our asses handed to us or called assholes for wanting to own a gun. Somebody asked, where could you get a hunting license from? You're going to have to Google that. Jesus, man, who asked that question? Sorry, Cheryl. You're gonna have to Google that because it depends on what state you're in. I know right now, New York State are doing online courses for your hunting license, which is a home run because I had to get in my car, drive an hour and a half upstate New York to sit through fucking an old guy talk about hunting. Sorry, it was bad. I hated it. It was. I'd rather have been chewing glass than ever do that again. So right now they're doing it online. So if you're looking to do it online, great. Uh, so if you're in New York City, you got to go online and look up New York State hunting license. They have an online course that you can take from your home, right? I think it's like a Zoom class or some shit like that. One of the guys in my firehouse is taking it, and he said it was easy. And I was jealous because, I had to go eat shit and take the class. So I also have my bow license as well. So I got the rifle and bow, whatever it was. I'm looking to get my trap, but the trap course is like way the hell upstate, man. And I'm not entertaining that just yet because it's a nice little hike. Yes, he ordered everywhere. It was terrible, right? It was the worst. It was like I'm chewing glass. It was just really, really bad. Um, I don't remember a lot from it because either A, I passed out, or I was so bored I became comatose. But I got my license, right? Or my, what you call it. And so I hopefully can go hunting this year, provided they open up, what you call it, the parks for us to go hunting in. We'll see. We'll see. But 425, very good. 3 more likes, guys, and we get to 400. And then I can call it a night. We have 423 people watching. That's pretty good. And we have trapping. Yeah, Shay Turner. I would love to do trapping. Would love to. Joseph Benson. I could do certain like stop bleeding video, if that'll help. Hopefully that'll help. Definitely. That would, if that's gonna help you, then I'll do a quick video on it. Um, Survival Medicine Handbook. Thank you, Spike 12. That's a good book. Survival Medicine Handbook. Um, Look into that as well, guys. I will try to put the link to the books I have in the chat below. Sorry, the description section below. Um, you know, as soon as. All right, good. Damn, just like that. 435. Wow. Thank you, guys. That was good. That was really good, actually. I appreciate it. I like how the numbers fluctuate, though, from screen to screen. It's pretty interesting. Jeff Guitar Nelson, thank you. Survival kit, wife is a nurse. Very good, Aaron. Right, so if you have a medical professional in your family, pick their brain, guys. If it's a cousin, a sister-in-law, brother-in-law, pick their brain. Make sure you get trained by them as well, because they'll give you the whole spiel on it, right? Again, it also depends on their field. If they're a dentist, no, or podiatrist, but EMTs, medics, somebody, have them train you. You're gonna need the training, guys. With all the shootings that have been going on, we need it. We need the fucking training. It's just getting insane out there. It really is. Gingerbeard, you can email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. Let me put it in the chat here so that you guys get it. So I just sent you guys my email, angryprepper@gmail.com, guys, if you are looking to send me anything. Now, guys, believe it or not, I do read all of them. I might not get back to you on all of them. It's nothing personal, but I do realize that sometimes you guys send me stuff just to read or videos to watch, and I read them and watch them. And a lot of it's entertaining, like that Trump encryption message he left behind about going into hiding. That was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting. So, I answer them, guys. So don't get it wrong. I might not answer them right away, and might not answer them right now, but I will read them, right? And if I answer them, it was because it required a response. And some of the videos you guys sent me don't require a response. Joseph Benson, please email me about the Yale study that I clearly missed at some point during this chat. I didn't read it. So whatever the Yale study is, just send it to me. I'm all ears for it. And guys, I entertain a lot of shit because you never know, right? You never know what's what and what's not. That's why I push it. That's why I read them, guys, because you never know what's going to be and what's not going to be. Anyway, guys, listen. This is the Angryprepper. Thank you for watching. I am going off the air now. I am tired, and I got to go to work tomorrow morning. So, guys, thank you for hanging out with me on a Monday night. It was good to see that this thing got above 500, and thank you.